Hey, welcome everyone. In this video I would like to talk about VS Code configuration. So basically we need to do two things. We need to install extensions and we need to extend the default VS Code config file, which is done with JSON format, which is really convenient. So first let's maybe start with extensions and then we're gonna talk about configurations. So to install extensions we need to go to this panel on the left and we will see the list of extensions enabled in VS Code by default, and also we can install and manage extensions from here. So just to install extension, just type something in this search bar and it will show you all possible extensions. Just click on that and hit install. So let me walk you through extensions that we will use during this course. So first extension is going to be auto rename tag. It will allow us to rename HTML tags on the fly. So this is a must, I would say. Then we have bracket pair colorizer. I mean, this is totally optional, but it is really convenient for JavaScript if we have nested structured data. It will colorize the opening and closing brackets. Then we have our essential extension, which is ES7 React Redux GraphQL React Native snippets. Make sure you have this one installed because we are going to utilize that one a lot. Then make sure you also have ESLint installed. This is for ESLint integration with VS Code to notice any errors on the fly. Then also just a helper extension, ESLint disable snippets, that's totally optional. Then we have highlight matching tag. So this one I would say is a must as well because it makes things more simpler. It will just highlight the matching HTML tag as you can see on the preview. So this is very convenient. Then import cost, this is also optional. It will just show us the size of imported dependency. Then the essential extension is IntelliSense for CSS class names in HTML. So make sure you have this one installed. It is really convenient. It will look for all possible class names in our project and then it will give us this IntelliSense as you can see on preview based on our project. Then material icon theme. This is optional, but this is very popular theme for icons to view in the Explorer, so I highly recommend you to install that one. Then npm IntelliSense. npm IntelliSense is a must. It will give us IntelliSense and autocomplete for dependencies when we try to import them. So that's really convenient. Just make sure you have this one. Then we have path IntelliSense. This is the kind of similar package, but it doesn't work for dependencies. It works for local project files when we try to import them. Then we have prettier. Make sure you have prettier extension installed as well. This is a must. It will format our code when we hit the save button. Then toggle quotes. Toggle quotes is also a must. It will allow us to switch between different types of quotes. For example, from double quotes to single, from single to backticks, and other way around. This is a must. Then Visual Code IntelliCode, I guess this is installed by default, and VS Code styled components. So this is for something that we will cover in one of the sections, so just make sure you have this one installed for the future use. Alright, that's all for extensions. If you are failing to install something else, it's totally up to you. You can configure VS Code however you want. Now about configuration. So to open config, we need to first open the search bar, then we need to open the bracket and type settings. Then we need to select preferences, open settings, JSON, and it will open our config in JSON format. So this editor and theme sections are my personal settings that I use for VS Code. But to configure VS Code correctly, we basically need only one line if we are on Linux or macOS, but if we are on Windows, we need to also add these two lines to configure git bash as integrated terminal for VS Code. Because during development, we will use integrated terminal. So we will run scripts from this terminal, so that's why it is important. So I will leave this file after this video so you can just copy and paste it and replace it with your path if it is any different. But again, for Windows users, just make sure you have these 2 lines and this 1 line for prettier. So when we save file, it will automatically format this file without any other configuration. So if I, let's say, comment these 2 lines and then I open integrated terminal, as you can see on Windows, by default it is set to PowerShell, but that's not what we want. We installed Git Bash, so let's use Git Bash. If you are on Mac or Linux, it will open you your default terminal. So I guess that's it. That's all about extensions and config for VS Code. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. That's basically everything we need to know about VS Code config.